Hi, welcome to my palpation demonstration. Today, instead of doing a physical palpation, I will actually be doing an artistic rendition of a palpation with drawings and pictures. With that being said, the reason I am choosing to do an artistic rendition of this palpation demonstration is because I actually do not have any roommates available to me to help me show the physical attributions of it. But also, I want to show you how I like to learn things and one mnemonic that is helping me with the scapula. Very quickly, I would like to really paint a picture of what I am trying to describe. Now, if we were to do a posterior view of the person's back, we would start off by seeing this highlighted part I have here on the shoulder, and that's actually the scapula. Now that we know that this part is the scapula, I'm actually going to do a quick zoom in on here right now. So now we have a posterior view of the right scapula. Now, if I were to still continue looking at a person's back in a posterior view, supinated, I would want to start by going medially of somebody's scapula right here at this medial border and start transitioning laterally. And as I feel, I will start to find this little curve here, which is actually the scapular spine. So if you were to ask somebody to put their arm behind their back and flex that part of their shoulder, this part would be the first part that sticks out at you. And since that we've located the area where the scapular spine is, we would have to continue moving laterally up the scapula. Find that really short, sharp, rigidy part, and that is actually the acromion, which will connect to the clavicle. And since we've now felt this whole ridge starting from this medial border, moving laterally to the scapular spine, and then moving laterally again to the acromion process, if we return medially to the scapular spine, we would find that there are two fossas. First, inferior to the scapular spine is the infraspinous fossa. And if we moved superiorly from that fossa to the scapular spine, and one more time, we would go into the supraspinous fossa. And these are very, very flat portions on somebody's shoulders if you were to palpate them. Now, this is the part where my mnemonic comes in and a little bit of my optional structure, and it ties into the part that I'm going to explain to you about the muscles. Quickly switching to an anterior view of a person's chest, we would actually start centromedially right here in the sternum. And if we followed right here in the sternum and moved laterally on the clavicle, which I mentioned earlier in the video, you would keep going up and find this concave section. This concave section attaching to the acromion process, but if you go superiorly and feel into this portion of the person's skin, you are going to find the coracoid process, which is going to feel a little round and bumpy, but you really have to push into this person's muscle to feel it. The coracoid process is the optional structure that I really wanted to talk about, because if you are a nerd like me, you are familiar with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you may have also heard of The Legend of Korra. And to give a little more context, I want to just establish that this is my artistic rendition of Avatar Korra, who is actually the person that I have been referring to the whole time in this video. First thing you've probably noticed about Korra is that she has some very large muscles, and that's not me doing that. In her original character design, she actually has large muscles, which is what I'm going to be getting into. And very quickly, I'm going to show you a quick rendition of what I'm trying to explain. She's going to be flexing in this next scene now. While my friend Cora was flexing, there were two muscles that I really wanted to discuss that allowed me to remember this, both originating at the coracoid process. The first one being the coracobrachialis, which inserts mid-medially of the humerus right below here by the glenoid process. And when it flexes, it abducts the arm and at the shoulders. The other muscle I wanted to talk about when Cora flexes is the biceps brachii, and that inserts at the radial tuberosity and flexes the shoulder. And when that flexes, it supinates the elbow at the forearm.